Super awesome topic today. One of my favorite, personally. How can emotional intelligence, or can it, in fact, help with creating a culture in this new way of working, or reinventing a culture that perhaps needs some reinvention? That is the question. And we need to just kind of also understand that when we talk about emotional intelligence, we often just think it's this, just kind of managing your emotions, but it's much more beyond that. The basic of emotional intelligence is self-awareness, not only understanding kind of yourself and your biases, your unconscious reactions and behaviors and communication, but also understanding how they are towards others and catching yourself in those moments when you see yourself reacting to certain things, and being able to understand where's that really coming from so that you can actually challenge it. So emotional intelligence is first and foremost that self-awareness piece. Do you understand yourself? And then can you see yourself in others and certain reactions that you have? And then next, of course, we still have the empathy, the managing emotions, and understanding and managing emotions of other people as well. And with everything that we're going through right now as organizations and employees, with this new way of working and kind of really, reinventing the way we work, and realistically, it's not going to go back to the way it used to be. So everything is being affected as we look at the future of work. So how we work with people, where we work, right, and the relationships we have with others, the culture of organizations. How can we make sure we reinvent the cultures, and also how can, if we don't have great cultures to begin with, right, how can we also build up cultures that are effective for this new way of work?
Elena, so something that has happened during these times of remote work is that somehow we have invited the real us, we have made ourselves more vulnerable, because when we are having a Zoom meeting, we are inviting part of our house. We are sometimes having our kids going around, the noises. So we kind of sharing a little bit of our private life, and that has created a big change on the way we are. We have become, as I mentioned, vulnerable to in sharing with others. Now, this change has developed a sense of belonging, a need that needs to be covered in organizations to be a tribe that it is protecting each other, especially when we are lonely, working alone. Sometimes we are always connected with our peers, with our colleagues, with our bosses. And we understand that emotional intelligence is bringing value to our lives in terms of bringing more innovation, bringing more diverse opinions um, uh, about a given topic. It has developed more organizational outcomes. There is more of this feeling of strengthening teams now, especially that we are showing a little bit more of our personal life. So fostering belonging is one of the key for successes on transforming organizations. And another thing that has happened is that during this period, we have been rethinking the role of technology in our day-to-day life. So before COVID, in fact, the discussion was more about how can we use technology to replace the work of others. And now it's more about how can we use technology to break the barriers that don't allow us to connect with others? And how can we improve the sense of connectedness? How can we gather insights about people to understand what is the level of well-being that they're incurring today? Are they connecting with each other? Are they working alone? Have we created new silos of communication inside of the organization? And how finally technology also allows us to have collaboration that becomes meaningful when it's required, and it's something that is quite personalized. So this is something where technology can enhance, in fact, this emotional intelligence and spread it in a bigger way, work in the flow of work, so that people becomes teams that are interconnected and more, and where the sense of belonging is enhanced. Now, the big question that I'm sure that you are asking yourself. So how can we do better in terms of emotional intelligence? Are we all using the full potential? So one of the things that we need to understand is that as much as we are developing new technologies that enhances it, we need to work on the human capabilities to be more connected, because no matter what, a machine cannot be creative. A machine cannot brainstorm ideas. A machine cannot show empathy to others. That's our role. And our role as humans should be enhanced by technology. We need to develop learning journeys where where people are encouraged to engage and grow this human nature. We need to embrace this human nature. So let's be ourselves. Now that we're showing part of our homes, let's be totally, genuinely ourselves. Let's be more vulnerable. And you mentioned before, and this is something that I love coming from you, is about encouraging self-awareness through reflection. So we need to give time and a given time, an occasion, an opportunity for people to get themselves a little bit better in a personal manner, and all of these interactions that are into play inside of an organization. So how can we do things differently? How can we create better outcomes? How can we encourage or role model this feeling of being more vulnerable? And that starts, by the way, always by the top. If the role model in the CEO is not capable of doing it, how can you expect that the organization becomes more tangibly different? So, and the last point, it is about how can we use really technology to give us data about what is going on in terms of the connectedness of teams, in terms of the well-being. So we have access to this this information, and we need to use it carefully in order to improve the cultural, emotional intelligence of the group, of the corporate altogether. So for that, we need data. Data and technology is going to help us to do better on this side. So listen, did we improve during COVID? I think that there is the human touch, the human abilities have improved. It's not in the same rate for all of the organizations. There is still a lot of work to be done in terms of the level of empathy. How do we really unleash all the full potential, and we transform the cultures? And especially today, it becomes critical in order to be successful for the future, right?
Yes, I think what we can encourage our audience to do as well is to take this moment and this video to reflect and see which one of these tips that you have stated that they can try to implement in the coming days.
Exactly. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.